Good day, this is a follow-up video to my first one. I had a couple questions sent to me about getting the caps off that the Dremel tool appeared to be hard for them. So I'll try to be a little more detailed with that today. I've already gone ahead and removed the bolts. I'm going to do this different than I did in the first video. I'm actually going to remove the transmission and the wheels from the unit before I change anything. So I've simply taken the bolts out, remove the transmission and wheel assembly, and get rid of the body for now. You got to elevate it just a little bit because it'll want to rest on the table, so make sure you elevate it. You can use a little piece of wood. It's only got to come up an inch or so. So I'll set that aside. So then what you have is the transmission and the wheel assembly, and it's easier to work with this way, so I'll try to be detailed. The ears, let's see if I can get up here close. Yeah, I can't really see it. Anyway, the ears are cut on three sides. They're cut on the top and down the sides. And down at the base, down where the flange is, down at the base is where you need to make your cut with the Dremel tool. Let's see if I can zoom into that. Hopefully that'll focus. Just give it a second. Apparently not. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to cut right here, right at the base of those three cuts. There's two up, one up each side, one across the top that holds it on the axle shaft, and then I'm going to cut right here at the base. So hopefully I can show you that. I just use a Dremel heavy duty, oops, going the wrong way, heavy duty cutoff wheel, number 420. Okay, that's all I use. Or something similar, as long as it's a cutoff wheel. Okay, and then come in here and you hold about 45-degree angle and you cut that base. If you're changing the transmission, it doesn't matter if you cut into the axle at all, you're going to throw it away. But you just cut enough to where that ear comes loose. And if you have to use a little pry tool to pry it out, fine, but generally I can get away with cutting. You can get a little hot, so just be aware of that. So let me cut these. Alright, we'll see if that, yep, there we go, comes right off. Now mine come right off because it's a little more drier climate here. But some of you have expressed that they're rusted on. Let me zoom back out. That they're rusted on. Take a pair of pliers, just come down from the top, grip it real good, and give a twist, and then pull. And if they're harder than that, maybe try it from the side, grip, twist, and pull. Use a pair of vice grips if you have them. Okay, so that's that one removed. Okay, now I'm going to leave the wheel on, even though the cap's removed, because it makes a good base to hold it. So I just turn that over. Okay, I'm going to cut the other two ears off this next cap. Should be it. Off they come. Get rid of the grinding debris. You might burn that into the plastic a little bit, some of that debris, but it's no big deal. Okay, so now you've got your wheels off. You can throw your bad transmission away. I'm just going to show you a couple other things here real quick that you can use. So I'm going to put this back on the old transmission for now. If you're changing these a lot and you're having a hard time getting those caps off, just some other things to consider is go to the hardware store and just buy yourself a regular old hose clamp. Just the size of that shaft. And then you can use your nut driver. Instead of driving on the new caps, just use that. It's holding it on there. Then when your transmission goes out again, because it'll inevitably fail some point in time, simply loosen your nut and off comes your hose clamp. So that's one way. Another way is go to your hardware store and you can buy these little, they call them hose spring clips or hose. They're spring-loaded, I don't know if you can see that. They're spring-loaded hose clamps is what they are. And get one just a little bit smaller than your axle. Take your pair of pliers, spread it just a little bit, squeeze it, put it on there. There it is. Same thing. Then when it comes time to change it, and this is a little harder to get off because it wants to twist on me. But you can come in here and squeeze it, take your screwdriver, and off it comes. Okay, so that's just another idea. But I'm going to put the drive caps back on, and to do that I got a couple different things to do there. So we're going to keep the wheels, get rid of the transmission. We now have a brand new transmission. This is how they come in the box. They come with the new caps, and they come with 5 new screws, just like my other videos showed. Okay, in the first video I used my 1/2 inch thick bar stock triangle plate to put the axle on, because when you're driving, see, that's one solid piece, and if you don't support that axle and you're just trying to drive against, let's say, another wheel, that's recessed and you could end up breaking your wheel. So you want to support, and I'm going to leave that wheel off so you can see, but you rest that axle on there, then when you're driving up here it supports that. Okay, well, so you don't have bar stock laying around like I do, or some piece of scrap that's a little over a 1/2 inch thick. Actually, it can be an inch thick, whatever. It's just got to fit inside this recessed area of the wheel so you can have something to drive against. So I got thinking, pretty much anybody can come up with some quarters. Regular old money, quarters. 50-cent pieces of work, quarters, most common. 7 of these. Tape 7 of these together, and that's going to make about a 1/2 inch. Real dang close. So I just use plain old tape. You can use Scotch tape, you can use masking tape, you can use duct tape. But just stack those 7 quarters. Doesn't have to be anything special or pretty. That'll probably do. But I'm going to put one more around it just because. I'll go the opposite way so I don't knock any quarters out. And there you go. And then when you're driving on your hard surface, I usually use a bench vise, and I don't have to use quarters or my bar stock. I can, well, I do have to use my bar stock. I'm usually driving on a bench vise or a bench. This is just a wood countertop. If you don't have access to that, sidewalk, put your quarters down on the sidewalk so you're not driving into the concrete. Okay, and that's how it'll be. So with that said, I'm going to center that. Well, here, I'll leave that off so you can see. So anyway, your wheel, you got your locator pins and your locator recess. Oh, let's see if you can see this. And I don't know if you're going to see it with the light. But anyway, the main thing is make sure you get your wheel down where it belongs. And turn your wheel. See how that poked through? It pokes through about 3/8 of an inch. If it's not, it's just a little above flush. Okay, so what that is that locator is sliding. This locator recess is sliding onto these pins. Okay, so I'm going to rest my axle. Here's my quarters. Get my axle centered on it. Okay, so now when I'm driving from this side of the axle straight through to the tabletop. Transmission is just sitting in between. Now, one thing you need to be aware of when you're driving on here is this transmission is split right here, and there's really nothing holding the top half and the bottom half together except for a screw that's inside here. Okay, so when you're driving on this might jar loose just a little bit, and there's little special ears on this plastic bearing on your axle that have to be located. But you'll know if you knock those out because this won't match up this seam. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to leave that up. So here we go. So I'm going to put on a wheel. I'm going to turn it till it falls into the locator. There we go. Okay, and then I can just hold it here. And, pardon me for a minute, I got to go get my new caps. Didn't bring them over. Those are the old ones. Okay, so here we are. We're set on the quarters with the axle. Okay, just going to take a new cap, stick on there. Sorry, those are my old ones. Huh. Okay, new cap sits on there. It sits on there a little cockeyed because those ears stick out. Now I use a 1/2 inch drive socket with about a 2-3 inch extension, just 3/8 drive. You can use that. If you don't have that, you can use a deep socket. Again, 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch I found works the best. You can use a 9/16, anything bigger than that's a little too big. So I'm going to use this. Okay, it's going to be a little cockeyed. Just try to hold it up center as you can, best you can. Just a regular old claw hammer, a couple good whacks. And I'm not quite on there, I can tell, so I'm going to drive it a little bit more. Alright, well, we're on there. There, see how my transmission kind of come apart? No big deal. I just have to know that I got to turn that locator down here in this wheel. But I'm going to drive on the other cap here first. So now that this cap's on, I want to make sure I get that centered over the quarters. Okay, good and solid. Put on my wheel. Come on, there we go. Fell into place. There's my new cap. I'm going to use the deep socket this time, just for giggles. Okay, a couple good whacks. And there it is. It's on there. Okay, done with the quarters. Okay, now again, like I told you, you can see that separation of that case. That's because this little plastic locator is turned. So just bear with me and I'll show you how I do that. I take my pick and I look down here and I look at that little plastic bearing and I figure out which way I got to turn that. Kind of hard to see there, all right though. Oh, there we go. There's two little ears, and they're top and bottom, and they got to fit into a little channel. I know you can't see it, but you got to look down in there and you got to get them in that spot. Once you get them in that spot, that flushes back up. That seam does, and then you can put it back on. that, if you're worried about that, then you can leave this either mounted to the tractor, or get yourself a screw and a nut, 2 of them, and put through each end before you start driving stuff on, and then you won't separate it like that. Hopefully that helped. So then I come back in here, and I can mount that back up with my 5 bolts, and I'm good to go. So hopefully that video helps. Give me your comments. I'll try to be a little more detailed on that. I'm trying to make this simple and easy so people that don't have the resources or the experience can maybe understand this and do this at home on their own and not get frustrated with it. So anyway, there you go. Thank you for watching.